Whitburn pulls up for three. Boom! Knocks it down.
Curry from the corner at three. Puts it in.
For overtime, makes it going. Right.
Welcome to the MVP cast once again from me, Mark Woods. Thank you so much as always for tuning in and joining us. Of course, you can keep up to date with basketball news from the UK and beyond, and the podcast via our social media channels. Just search for the MVP cast on Twitter, Instagram or Facebook. And don't forget, in addition to downloading the pod via your preferred provider, you can also get us on your smart speaker. Just ask it to play the MVP cast via your podcast app or in some technologically advanced manner. And if you get one for Christmas, we're there. Now, our guest in this edition is a recent transplant to Tyneside. He's been south for so long, but now he's gone to land where t-shirts and shorts are just perfect in these snowy, cold times. He's getting used to the Eagles and hoping to fly high. He is Denzel Ubiaro. Welcome to the MVP cast, Denz.
How's it going? Thank you for having me here.
How is life in Newcastle treating you after the salad and halcyon days of the South Coast?
Oh, I mean, it's colder. That's one thing. So I'm definitely wrapping up a little bit more than usual. But no, I'm loving the environment, loving the city. Like, just getting used to it.
Wrapping up, that'll never catch on. You'll stand out as a southerner.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something. We were supposed to talk ages ago because you did this amazing thing a couple of years ago now, and we saw it in the summer, and we didn't. People will have seen you on the big screen, but will not have known probably that they saw you in the big screen.
Yeah,
because some people saw a couple of years ago, you disappeared overnight from Plymouth, and you went off into the blue yonder, and people were going, "Where's he gone? Where's Den's gone?" And you were on a movie set, and the movie was called Rise, and it is I would want to say it's a complete biography, because I spoke to the brothers, and the brothers have all said to me they toned our story down. The Antetokounmpos, about their incredible tale of coming from the streets of Athens to being multimillionaires, famous worldwide basketball Goliaths as a family, and you were in the movie. No, so let's start with brass tacks. What was your precise role in this Rise?
So my role was being a stunt double, and it was a stunt double for the actor that played Thanasis, so the older brother. So I was being the stunt double for him, essentially. So stunt double / kind of like basketball liaison with kind of like some of the moves and like how stuff will kind of like look good and how like authentic it will kind of look like. So yeah, essentially my official role was basketball stunt double for Thanasis.
So for those who haven't seen the movie, how does it shape up this story? Because it's a Disney movie, we should say that.
Yeah, it's a Disney movie. Yeah, it definitely shapes up. So like usually with like all your classic kind of like Disney movies, where it's about kind of like the trials and tribulations, and then the growth to kind of like that stardom and that kind of like celebration, all that good stuff. You know, obviously it's just about the story of the Antetokounmpo like family and how they went through the trials tribulations of being I believe immigrants in Greece, or being Nigerian descendants, and then their upbringing in Greece and kind of like the turmoil they have to go through, the troubles they'll have to go through as well, and kind of growing up through the ranks of basketball and getting to where they are right now. So it is a great movie, incredible story, and how it's been produced and shown to the audience is incredible.
So we know your CV. We don't see RADA on it. We don't see just our drama school. You're a baller. How did this come about?
To be honest, it was the most random thing ever. I tell this to everyone. Honestly, it was the most random thing. It was probably a random Tuesday after practice. I don't even think I had the best practice as well. So I was just like, oh yeah, let me just go home and just relax. And then ended up getting a message on Twitter by a person goes by Hernando Planels. Just a tweet, DM, just saying, oh, hi, Den, saw some of your highlights. We're filming in Greece right now for a movie about the Antetokounmpo family. Would you be interested? And obviously, with probably like any message that someone will see, they'll probably be like, yeah, that's fake. So I just swiped off of it, like, yeah, no, that's not real. And then I was just like, you know what? Hold on, let me just see. And the reason being, I double checked. He had a verified tick on Twitter, so I was just like, oh yeah, this guy must be legit. So I checked him, who he was, and yeah, he was in tons and different movies. You know, like sports movies, like a Rebound, which was had Martin Lawrence in it. Famous one, Coach Carter. He was a sports coordinator for that as well. Many other movies. So I was just like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna give this guy a call. And then yeah, gave him a call. Great person, great person, as well as the boss of a sports coordinator company called Game Changing Films, Amy. Like they were just both great people. Spoke to them, and then I just asked them, oh yeah, like I'm interested. Like when would you want me to come out? And they was just like, oh yeah, next Monday. And I was just like, sorry, what? Like, you know, it was such a quick turnaround. They was just like, yeah, we're like starting to film. I was just like, oh, I could try and see if we can sort that all out. But yeah, like the whole production company, Disney, they were incredibly helpful. You know, they gave me a visa appointment as well. I had to fly back from Plymouth to London, back and forth a couple of times, sorted out, you know, flights, all that good stuff. And then, yeah, literally 3-4 days time, I was in Greece, you know, in Athens, middle of Athens.
Before I ask you about the filming, there's a conversation you've got to have with PJ, coach at Plymouth at the time. Does he believe you, and B, does he actually believe he has to let you go within a couple of days?
Yeah, I know. It was even a weird one because, like, me and my missus at the time, we was just like, how do we even approach this conversation with PJ, the owner at the time? Like, it's just such a random thing, honestly. And bear in mind, this was, I think, a week or maybe 2 weeks before playoffs as well. So it was like at a crucial point of the season. So yeah, I was just like, okay, cool. Let me call Phil, the owner at the time, just speak to him, just be as honest as possible, and just be like, yo, Phil, like they want me on the Disney movie to help out, be a stunt double. I mean, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Really, this doesn't really happen every day. You kind of understand where I'm coming from. And he was just like, Denz, go for it. Like, when's the next time Disney's going to be like, yeah, Denz, come on the movie. You know, it was a once in a lifetime opportunity. And then managed to speak to PJ as well. They were both supportive. He was exactly on the same page. He was just like, we don't want you to go, but we want you to go. You know, it's a once in a lifetime experience. So they were incredibly you know, supportive with the decision. Incredibly supportive. So that made life a little bit easier.
I mean, you get out there, and I've been around film sets a couple of times, and I mean, it's organised chaos in a way, but the organisation part of it is incredible. And you're walking into this environment where, you know, it's new for you. I suppose it's a bit like kind of turning up for a new team, trying to learn the playbook, you know, and put on the right performance when you've come in mid-season. But what advice, or how are they showing you this craft?
I don't even know. Like you said, it's like organized chaos, to be honest. And it really does help because Hernando and Amy, who are the sports coordinators, they obviously have like insane basketball background anyway. So Amy herself, she played college Division I basketball at high level. Hernando, he was a G League coach, Duke women assistant coach. Like his resume goes on and on and on. So like they are extremely familiar with basketball at all levels. So it was kind of easy just to kind of just be in that environment and that professionalism of like, Denz, you know, you're a professional player. Like, you know, we're gonna make sure everything's sorted and fine. Like, you're not gonna do anything crazy moves or anything, you know, that's gonna like really test your abilities. You know, we're just here because, you know, you can do what you can do best. And then you know, that was really like comfortable, you know, having that conversation with them, and then meeting like the lead actor and the co-actor as well, Uche and Rao, that's their names. Meeting them, we're all like around the same age. I'm a little bit older, but you know, it was all good. It was kind of easy just to be around them. And then the other stunt double as well, he's from London, like London Greek. So it was kind of like a small team within a larger team. So it was really easy and like to get comfortable with them and familiar with them. So it kind of made that like transition easy.
So what is the job? I mean, a stunt double. I mean, you know, stunt double, we kind of think of, you know, the guy in the fire suit jumping, you know, out of a building, or, you know, or being, you know, across the bonnet of a car while Tom Cruise keeps his nose perfect. Basketball stunt doubles is a kind of different sort of thing. What practically, what were you doing?
For the most part, hours and hours of waiting. Hours of waiting. That's one thing they don't show people, like behind the scenes. Hours of waiting. It's long film days, you know, like 10, 11, 12 hour film days. One film day was like overnight. So what, it started like 7 p.m., finished like 7 a.m. the next day. So it was loads of waiting. But yeah, essentially like my role was just to kind of, there'll be like a couple of days where we'll rehearse like the moves that they want us to do, and they want the actors to do. Obviously, they would want the actors to be able to do it so it looks more authentic, and they don't have to, kind of chop and change the camera angles or do any like camera Disney magic they have to do. So obviously, they would really focus on the actors doing the move. So it'll be something simple as probably like an in and out crossover with a layup, or just a no look pass, or something real simple. And yeah, it was pretty straightforward in that sense, but just loads of waiting, tons and tons of waiting.
What being in that situation, and you're of parents, or not just your parents or your dad are Nigerian. And so there's some connection there in a sense of the backstory and the origins, and then a basketballer coming in and making using that to make something of their life in a way. It sounds like a very thing you would ask an actor or a thespian, but did you identify with the character?
Yeah, a little bit. I would say like I feel like I'm quite privileged in just like my upbringing as well. I would definitely say like their upbringing was a lot more like, trials and tribulations, a little bit tougher, how they have to, go through everyday kind of tasks, but also have that unfortunate circumstances of prejudice during that time period where they grew up, So it was tough in a sense like that. But in terms of just like being Nigerian, like that sense of like family, religion, and just knowing what is important and going through basketball, if that kind of makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like that I could relate to, just like family first before anything, always making sure you pray before anything you do, just keeping it authentic as much as you can and not forgetting where you come from, if that kind of makes sense. So that I definitely like did relate to, and it was nice to see that, see them put that in the movie as well.
Yeah, because this is the premise I read it out of when it was written. It was that showing the family through faith, determination, their unbreakable bond.
Yeah. The
Antetokounmpos unite to lift themselves out of a life of poverty as undocumented immigrants living in Greece. And I spoke to Thanasis about this when I was at Eurobasket, and I said, I think at the start of the podcast. I said, how realistic was it? Did it really reflect things? He said, no, they really toned it down. It was a Disneyfication, I suppose he was trying to say, a sense of the story, because there was bleaker times and there was tougher times, and probably times that they probably haven't even talked about, or it's not the sort of cozy good luck or good feel good story that maybe we saw on the end film. Did you get a sense being around it though that this was a fairy tale, or did you get a sense of I guess watching the film that of that kind of struggle, or knowing their story and appreciating what they'd been through at the lows in a sense to get to the highs?
Yeah, I think it's more just like, I guess it's essentially just a smaller lens of what they actually went through, like you kind of explained it, or like Thanasis explained it. Like obviously they definitely toned it down, but I feel like with any kind of story in life, like away from movies, when you meet someone, they obviously give you kind of like an insight or just a glimpse of kind of things that they go through if obviously you speak to them on that level, So I kind of felt like the same, like it definitely felt like the same. But it's weird, like I kind of had a sense of just like being in that environment of them trying to make the scenes that they were filming and what they did want to tell the audience, that they were trying to make it as authentic as it could be, for sure. Like I definitely did get that feeling as well. Like obviously I know like everyone's story, there's different things that you would tell people, different things you wouldn't tell people, and yeah, definitely I could imagine that they definitely did go through like harder times that hasn't been shown in the movie, or they haven't told anyone, in their interviews or conversations they have with media and such and so forth. But yeah, I definitely felt like they definitely did try and make it as authentic as it could be. Definitely.
I mean, Rise is on Disney Plus. Was that when did you get to see the final movie for the first time?
Probably a month ago.
Oh,
And
really?
it just sounds crazy. Yeah, I don't know why. It's just been weird. It's one of those ones like me and my partner, we just wanted to watch it together, like properly. But she works a busy job, me with basketball and stuff. So it just kind of just slips on mine. And it's just like, then this is out of order. We need to watch this movie properly. Like, it's been how long, you know? But yeah, we finally did get around to watching it as well.
Was it
And
just
so many
the
people.
two of you, or did you have like the entire world around to watch it with you?
Oh, no, it's just two of us down in Plymouth. Down in Plymouth in a little room.
And what was the verdict? What was her verdict, more importantly?
Yeah, it was just one of them classic Disney feel-good movies, you know? And it was just so cool because there was a lot of the scenes, like, I remember how they filmed it, and it was just like, I don't know how this is going to look, but Disney, they do a decent job at making movies, so I'm pretty sure this will come out all right, you know?
There's like bits where you're pointing at the screen and going, that's my foot, that's my leg, that's my jump.
Yeah, but funny enough, like, it's actually crazy because so many people, and this is even funny, so many people are just like, oh yeah, Den's like, do you remember what scenes you did and stuff like that? And it's funny because it's just like, yeah, I've done one scene and I'm not 100% sure it's even in the movie. So out of all the hours that I've been there, I'm not 100% sure that I was used in any of the actual scenes in the movie.
Claim it,
yeah.
ride that wave.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, definitely, yeah. Like I said, that's why I added the basketball liaison, because there's definitely like some stuff I was helping the actors out with, like the moves and the finishing, just to make sure it looked good. So yeah, I like to say stunt double / basketball liaison.
What what do you take from it? I mean, obviously these opportunities might come once in a lifetime, but you know, when you were, you know, the guys you're working with, clearly you got on well. You thought very highly of them. Did you go, next time you've a need for a stunt double for a basketball player, or yeah, I don't know, maybe something else?
Yeah.
You thought, did you go, yeah, here's, you know, be the first port of call?
Yeah, no, for sure, definitely. Yeah, I told them many times, like, because they are familiar. They work well. The sports coordinated company, Game Changing Films, they obviously work with a lot of athletes, you know, professional athletes, college athletes. So they know, like, athletes kind of want to be involved or do stuff, you know. They, you know, as much as we would like to just, you know, kick back and chill, but like, we want to be involved and do stuff. So with the filming industry, there's loads of waiting, just tons of waiting, a lot of nothing really happening. It's super slow. So they know that, you know, it's quite boring for some people. Some people are okay with doing it and they're just, oh yeah, it's all right, time. And some people are just like, no, I hate it. Like, there's nothing going on. Like, I don't want to work with it. But I've explicitly told them, like, listen, this is cool for me. One, getting out my comfort zone, because I've not been in a production environment before, you know, and I'm networking and meet with people, you know. So that's getting out my comfort zone, which I love. And as well, it's just a new kind of like step away from basketball, in a sense, where I could still be involved around sports, but just in a different light, if that makes sense.
Were you a bit disappointed not to get invited to the premiere in wherever it was, Athens, New York, Milwaukee? I can't remember.
Yeah, all that good stuff. Yeah, it is a little bit sad, but hey, you know.
One day, you and Thanasis will come, you know, face to face, and it'll be one of those moments of, I know you, don't I?
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
And you'll go, yes, you're Thanasis.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
I mean, they're globetrotters, and you're a globetrotter in every sense of the word. I hope we got this analogy right. You were born in London, Nigerian parents, yep, as we've said, but then you took off pretty quickly to Atlanta, Georgia, and then Texas as well as a kid.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so I was born here, born in London, and then I think by the age 3, moved to Atlanta, Georgia for about 4 years. Yeah, about 4 years, and then packed up and left to Houston, Texas. Yeah, for another like 4 or 5 years. So yeah, essentially like my whole childhood is American. So I still have like some of the Americanism and kind of a little bit of a twang there, and like some of the some of the dialogue used, I still use it till this day. But yeah, like my whole childhood is American, and then from 13 onwards, it's British.
And
so yeah, my brain's
I presume parents' jobs.
Yeah, parents' jobs. Yeah, so my dad, he was a civil engineer, so he worked with the railroads. I forgot what it's called. Metro. Yeah, Metro in Atlanta. So we worked with like, the railroads, train. Yeah, and then kind of had another job as well in Texas in the same field. So yeah.
And did you grow up on diets of Waffle Houses and Denny's, all the good stuff you get in the South?
All that good stuff, all of that good stuff. Yeah, Zaxby's in Atlanta, Chick-fil-A, Popeyes, Church, all of that good stuff. Yep, all of it.
What's your best memories of? I mean, obviously Atlanta. If it's special for me, it's where my wife's from, and I spend a lot of time there. But what's the sort of special memories of that period?
I think it's like, looking at it now, I definitely think like the sense of community and almost that sense of like, having your friends kind of just live super close with you, like in the neighborhood. So it's like those classic movies, you see people in the cul-de-sac and your next door neighbors there and all that stuff like that. Like, yeah, it's actually real, like just going across the road, getting on bikes, kind of like playing sports, American football, basketball outside and stuff like that. So it will definitely be like those just little memories, like having, some of my friends come over, we just do all night. It's just chilling, playing video games, all that stuff, so many memories, so many.
Does it give you a different, we talk a lot about race and the differences and the cultural differences in both sides of the Atlantic. And Atlanta, the sort of African American capital of America, the places where Martin Luther King was so prominent, and it's a big area of civil rights. So it's a city that you can't go to without getting an appreciation of the subject and the importance of the subject. And then you come back to the UK, and you've grown up, getting the appreciation of what that's like in America, and then you come back here, and it's a different kind of environment, it's a different sort of topic or context, but there are issues which are very much common. How did you find that as someone coming back and you've seen one thing and then you come here and you see it in a different way? What was the contrast and experience like?
To be honest, I felt like I was exposed to just multiple and different cultures from a young age. So like you said, in Atlanta, heavily in like a predominantly like black community, like you said with Martin Luther King, like it's just predominantly black community in Atlanta. And I was the age of 3 to 7, and then moving to Texas, I was still obviously, I would like to say, quite young, and the mind is still, I feel like it's can still be molded in a sense. And where I lived in Houston, it was quite like more of like a more white Hispanic community. So I felt like I was just always exposed to just different people, different cultures, races. So to me, it was just all normal, like interacting with all types of races there is, it was just normal. And then so coming back to London, and living in South London, where again it's quite, multicultural, it was just normal to me, to be honest, like I never really experienced anything crazy in a sense, or maybe my mind is, like watering it down probably, I don't know, but I never experienced anything like nuts and just like, oh wow, like this is a whole different culture or anything. To be fair, the only thing I really like noticed was probably school uniform. That was the only thing, to be honest, literally the school uniform, like wearing a suit. I'm just like, why am I wearing a suit? Like, what on earth? Like, what is this? Like, that's literally the only thing I can think of, like, culturally, But as I get older, I do look back and I'm just like, okay, maybe this was like a little bit of an interesting like interaction with this person or this and that. But I was just still so young and naive to the world,
How much do you feel that because it's such a great thing as a kid to have those different environments and experiences in different countries and different places? I mean, do you feel even now you kind of reap the benefits of that?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it's more just being able to just deal with change easier. I think, I even have this conversation with loads of other people, even my missus as well. Like, just being able to deal with change a lot easier because, a couple of years here, then it's just like, go to a whole different state. A couple of years here, now you're going to a whole different country. So it's just been, I think, like being exposed to kind of like the chopping and changes, like it's made me deal with change easier. Like I feel like I can deal with change a lot easier. So like for me moving down from Plymouth all the way up to Newcastle, I was just like, okay, that's all right. That's a little 8-hour train journey. That's cool. Like I just didn't feel any type of way like, oh my God, like, obviously like I miss, all the guys down in Plymouth, friends, teammates, my missus as well, all that stuff. But it's just one of those like, oh yeah, I will see you soon. I'm in the same country still, so I'm just like, it's possible. Whereas other people may be like, oh, this is a big change, you know, this is a whole different environment, etc., etc. But yeah, I definitely feel like I'm definitely reaping those experiences to this day for sure.
Did you come back from the States as a basketball guy?
Yes, only in my last year in the States. So my last year, that's when I like actually picked up basketball. So when I was 11, 11, 12, I can't remember what grade that is. I want to say 7th grade. I want to say 7th grade, I think. So year 8, year 8, 7th grade. So yeah, that last year I was there. That's when I picked up basketball. Really, I wanted to play American football. Like, I used to hate basketball. I used to just hate it. But I think maybe because I was an aggressive child and I just wanted to get some anger, frustration out and just let loose, maybe. But yeah, no, definitely. All my friends was just like, "Denz, yeah, try out for the basketball team. You'll make it. You're the tallest in school." And I was just like, "All right, cool. I'll see what it's saying." And then I just ended up being super invested into it, locked into it, you know. And I was just like, "Yeah, this is where it's at for sure." You know, for sure.
So at that age, if someone had gone to you on a Friday, would you like a ticket for the Texans or the ticket for the Rockets? What would you have taken?
I don't know. That's a good question. Probably the Texans, you know. Back then, probably Texans. But then saying that, I did go to was able to go to a Houston Rockets game. I think this is when Tracy McGrady was still playing.
Yeah, man.
This was against the Pistons because my dad was a big Pistons fan. He loved Chauncey Billups, loved Chauncey Billups. So Chauncey Billups was playing as well. I think this is when Ben Wallace was still there. But yeah, I remember going to that game, and it's crazy because, again, I wasn't super invested into basketball, so that game was just a complete blur. Like, I remember we had great seats as well. Like, really, if I went now, it would have been like, oh my God, like, such a sick experience. But back then, I was just like, all right, cool, it's home time. You know?
Do you feel lucky to have that? I've had a little bit. I mean, you would have been, I guess, middle school, but you know, that sort of experience of that. You know, how Americans embrace school sport, embrace youth sport in a very different way to that we do in the UK.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, I definitely appreciate it now. You know, like now, I definitely appreciate it. Just like seeing how, like, you know, under 18s, under 16 basketball is, and then thinking back at like the times where just in junior high school, like how big the crowds would be, how there'd be like cheerleaders, how it would be a proper thing, mascot and stuff, and what we're 11, 12, you know, and then yeah, it's just a whole experience, you know. So I definitely, it's bittersweet. It's like I'm glad I experienced that. Then it's just like, oh, I wish I had more of it coming back into like England and stuff, you know.
I suppose the weird thing is a lot of high school teams have a bigger budget than the GB under 16 team, but that says it all, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's a whole different beast. Yeah.
I mean, you come back here and obviously you keep playing basketball, and then you know it comes to the end of school, and you're like, you know, the American dream. Let's follow the American dream. You ended up at a place called Marshalltown, and it's a community college. Which state? I don't even know. Which state is Marshalltown in?
This is in Iowa,
So,
all the way up north in Iowa. Yeah,
middle of nowhere. So the kind of Plymouth of America.
basically, yeah, yeah.
And you know, obviously, you know, community colleges, you know, is for a lot of people, it's where you get a start, and then you hope to move up to, you know, Division 1 or, you know, university type environment. But it didn't really go to plan for you for, you know, very unfortunate reasons.
Yeah, it didn't go to plan. Yeah, and I think it's one of those ones that over the years I've accepted now. You know, I think is one part of it is how I probably might go on a little tangent. One part of it is being a international player on a scholarship. You're essentially coming to do a job, and obviously the conversation with the coach at the end of the year was, "Denz, you know, you didn't do, you know, enough essentially. So we're gonna like put you on a half scholarship, and then obviously if you improve and stuff like that, we'll help financially." So there's that aspect of just like, oh, like right now, I don't have the money to do that. Family doesn't have the money to do that, so we'll have to look elsewhere and see what we can do. So over the summer, just working out. Probably worked out a little bit too hard, which goes on to unfortunate circumstance number 2 of me tearing my ACL. So that kind of just, you know, kind of put a spanner in the works of what I really wanted to do. So that obviously just kind of changed the game plan of like, all right, cool. Well, you know, I'm a little bit familiar with the BBL. You know, I do know there's some teams that have a university and BBL links and affiliates. Let's just see what's going on in that aspect, And I was just like, yeah, let me just play professional basketball from the age of 19. If I can do that, that'll be a great, step forward. So,
and the ACL, the ACL's, there's a million ways, a million circumstances that can happen. It's one of those freak things. Where did it happen for you?
A scrimmage, which is annoying enough. Yeah, it was a scrimmage, just down at the Regal basketball court in South London, which was a competitive scrimmage, I think it was game point, ball was in my hand, and I was just like, yeah, I'm getting a bucket. So the other guy, he tried to foul me, slow me down. Close friend of mine as well, he tried to foul just to slow me down, but ended up jumping and landing wrong, and then just felt it go. But at the time I was in denial. I was just like, no, it's just a sprain. And these times my knees just swollen up like a balloon, but I was just like, nah, I'll be all right. But yeah, no, that was the time I tore my ACL.
What's the reaction when you hear those three letters once the docs get a proper look at it?
I don't know. I think I just tried to not really process. Yeah, I did my ACL. It was just all right, cool. I did my ACL. I can be back quick. I just need to rehab, make sure the swelling's down, get back stronger. I think my mind was just on as cliche as it sounds, it was just on a next play mentality. It was just all right, cool. This happened. Can't do anything about it now. What can I do moving forward? I think that's what it was. Because if I was to really process it, ACL's gone and all that, the stories you hear of other people that don't come back as themselves after ACL and stuff that's what really gets into your head. It was more of a mental battle. So I was just like, nah, I'm going to come back myself. I'm going to come back fine, come back stronger. Let's just keep moving forward, So I think, yeah, it was daunting at the time in the sense of, this is slowing down the steps I want to take. But in actual reality, I'm fine. I'm up in Newcastle. I'm doing all right,
I mean, you go into Plymouth and you're at Margins, and which has the link with then the Raiders now, that just the City Patriots. What was the process of winning yourself, from being a student to the point where obviously you're on a contract, and then you're in the rotation, and PJ's got faith in you. I mean, it was because and a lot of times when guys come back from America, you're ready made. You weren't at that stage quite yet, but how did you find that journey from coming back, proving you're fit and healthy first and foremost, to getting into the point where you're like, oh, I'm actually a BBL player here?
Yeah, so I think it links with me with getting put on a half scholarship. So I think I like to say I was already exposed to the quote unquote professionalism of basketball, and how you're there to do a job. If you're not there to do a job now, then it's just all right, cool. We're going to have to find someone else and bring someone else in. So I was already exposed to that at 18, 19 of look, you didn't do your job. This is the consequences of it. Something has to be taken away so we can bring in someone else that can do the job. So I was already exposed to that. So my mentality was, look, I already been exposed to not doing enough or not doing my job. I'm going to make sure I do my job, wherever it is, And I feel and I told this to everyone that I speak to, young kids that want to, progress in basketball. I was just I feel like everyone has the ability to play defense. And, I was just look, I'm just going to come in, face guard whoever it is. At the time, it was two-time MVP Justin Robinson. I was just I'm just going to make sure he does not touch the basketball at all. And he just gets vexed, So I think, me being able to do that, that puts trust in the coaches, And they're just all right, cool. Denzel can play defense. That helps alleviate pressure off, the scorers on the team, the guys running the team, and just kept doing that. And then, you get easy steal here and there, easy basket here and there. Then it's just all right, Denzel's producing a little bit more, and that just puts trust in the coaches and the guys around you, So yeah, I feel just being exposed to kind of professionalism in basketball, it just put me in a mindset of come and just do my job no matter what. And make sure I don't give anyone a reason of, Denz, why you not so and so forth. So I think being exposed to that from an early age definitely helps.
I mean, someone like Justin...
breed that trust and confidence.
Yeah, I mean, confidence is probably the word there. But, someone like Justin, and you're the young pup, and he's the, old wise pro here. Is that sort of confidence and bravado probably? Does that come naturally to you? Or is that the game face that you put on when you step on a court?
I feel like you just always have to be, as a basketball player. I feel like you just always have to be confident. Like in like me, you can tell. Like, you gotta ask anyone. Like I'm quite quiet and shy, but I think it's. I would like to say it's more of like an alter ego kind of thing. Like on a basketball court, I'll just over talk or just be over the top with things. Well, I feel like I'm over the top. Probably I'm just talking at a very normal level, but I just like to be over the top because it just kind of puts me in that alter ego of just like, look, you can do what you do and you do it very, very well. Go show everyone, you know. So I definitely feel like, yeah, it's just that alter ego for me anyways, you know.
That's your stunt double.
There we go. That's a stunt double, yeah. There you go.
You've got this, career. I remember Kieran Achara and I were calling a game, I presume it was Glasgow against Plymouth, a few years ago. I remember we spoke to you afterwards because you had an amazing game. And it was the best game that I think I'd ever seen you play. And there's always been those moments with, over the last sort of 5 years, I guess people have taught you, and I've watched you, and I go, this guy's our next big thing. This guy could be MVP of this league. And then maybe you disappear, and the numbers sort of drop off, and then you come back and you have this amazing game, and there's been roller coaster rides within that, and we see your talent, and we you see it, and obviously the defensive thing, it sometimes doesn't show up in the box score.
Yeah,
but it is a bit up and down, and you wonder is that how does that sit with you, or where do you think that comes from?
Multiple reasons. I think reason one, I think that's just myself and probably overthinking the situation that is around. So to like explain it, it's like as a domestic player, you kind of have to fit into a role. And I could be wrong on this, but this is how I feel, and this is kind of like my experience. As a domestic player, you kind of have to fit into a role and kind of do your role. And me being, 20, 21, 22, 23 at the time, like seen as young, especially like I was doing my studies as well, so I was seen as kind of like the young student at the time. So it's just like, yeah, then to come in, just do your role whilst everyone else, kind of gets the job done kind of thing. So that was kind of in my head. So that's probably why like some games it was just like, cool, play really well, and then some games it's just super quiet, because it's just like, all right, cool, let me just do my role and then take care of what I have to do, and that's it. And then it's also the aspect of like, I think stuff that's out of my control, in the sense of, all right, cool, we got guys that are here to score, so they need to score, so then make sure they got the ball in their hands so they can do what they have to do, So essentially, I think it's just a role and me overthinking the role and the entire context to it. So I think that's why there were some games that I kind of had up and down. But there's one of the ones I'm still like, just trying to get that at the back of my head, like get that out of my head, just like, Denz, you just play basketball. I've proven that I can score 19, 20 points on multiple occasions. Just do that. Basketball is basketball at the end of the day, no matter where you are.
Do you think that's I mean, it shows the psychology and it shows the importance of that psychology, but also it's with anything it's about coaches and the positions they're putting you in to succeed or impact on games, etc. But are you at the point in your career now, you're 25 years old, where you feel that it's not like you say Mark Stittle calls a play and you go, no, I know better. I'm going to do this because I think this is best for me right now. But that you have enough experience and enough self-belief in yourself to go at times, I'm feeling it here, or I can be the best version, or I can be the scorer in this play or situation.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I definitely believe it. Yeah, definitely believe it. And it's one of the ones like, if I do take a shot where coach might not like it, and it's just like, all right, cool. I felt like it was a good shot at the time. It was a good decision. I've worked on it, taken hundreds and hundreds of reps on it. If I miss and you feel like it was bad, well, we're going to have to review it on Monday during film, I can't lie. We're going to have to review it. But yeah, it's one of them ones like, I believe in myself for sure. No matter where I'm at in the world with basketball, like I feel like I'm just going to always put my best foot forward, and make sure I try and succeed as best as I can.
Let's talk about Eagles this season. 2-8 start, 9th place, not where we're expecting Eagles to be, and it's been tough, and there's been personnel changes, and you got a tough game up at Caledonia this Sunday. What's it been like for you guys? Because Mark's obviously his first head coaching job in the BBL. We know great job he's done for GB, but you know, there's a lot of new pieces trying to come together, and it hasn't always fitted. How have you tried to, you know, as a core group, you know, stay positive and, you know, stay focused?
I think it makes it easier that everyone kind of like gels well with each other, you know, because there's been teams, and I've been on teams where it's just like we're going off to a rough start. If we lose one game, it's the end of the world. You know, I've been on teams where it's like that. So for us to be in the situation we're in and to still kind of be a team and a group and us, like, you know, actually, you know, be cool with each other, it helps and it makes life easier, you know. Like, everyone wants to succeed, everyone wants to win. Like, there's no vibe of like, oh yeah, I'm just here just to get my stats so I can go to the next one. No, there's like no vibe like that at all. It's just like, nah, we're buying in this together, we're all in this together, we're going to get the ball rolling. Once we get the first one, we're confident, and we get second, third, fourth, we'll just keep going, you know. So that's just kind of that vibe and feel in the group, you know. We even had a team talk the other day as well, just like, look guys, we need to turn this around, like without coach as well, just us players, like, look, we got to turn this around, we need to figure it out. So let's just say what we need to say, how we feel, whatever, you know. And it was a productive conversation, you know. Like, the vibe over these last couple of days has just completely changed. It feels like there's like just an extra little fight, an extra, you know, positive energy. Like, it's just benefiting. So for us to be in a situation where we're at and still feel like we are in a good place, yeah, it's special, you know. We'll definitely turn it around.
Paul Blake, the Newcastle owner, made a comment the other week about, you know, the expectations in Newcastle, because, you know, you had a decade or more of winning trophies, and it, you know, just got repetitive. And, you know, I know what the fans are like in Newcastle. They're amazing, and they come in the numbers, win or lose, over, you know, the past 12 months. But they've grown used to this. You know, this was the default. Do you, as players, do you feel that expectation, the pressure that kind of comes from that expectation to win, rather than being, you know, the team that's second bottom at the minute?
No, yeah, 1,000%, definitely. You know, like before, when I was in Plymouth as well, I was just like, oh, Newcastle playoffs, yep, of course. Newcastle finals, yep, of course. They got the cup, yeah, okay. Trophy, yeah, okay. So now being in that environment, it's just like, nah, I got to make sure this keeps going. Like, I want to be a part of this as well. I want to win something. I want to be, you know, a part of the winning norm. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely, everyone's like feeling that pressure. You know, from coach top down to uni students that come into practice. Like, we all feel it. Like, nah, like, this is kind of a legacy we've been brought into, because those above feel like we can carry on this legacy, if that makes sense. You know, so it's just like, yeah, like, I'm trying to be a part of that as well. So we all feel it. Like, we know, we get it. We're trying. You know, that's one thing, we are trying. Like, we want to, you know, be part of it too, get some silverware.
Last thing I ask you about, you know, we've all kind of looked at interest in the BBL the last week. A new CEO, Aaron Radon, and, you know, we've seen some of the comments that he's made, and he's talking about making this a great league for British players to play in, as well as attracting a world-class talent from elsewhere. When you hear that and you look at the league now, and, you know, as a player who is, you know, you've grown up in this league, you've made this your home, this is your job and your profession, and you're invested in this. You know, we've all got, I think, opportunities to kind of hear from a bit more over the next week, because they've been very proactive, admirably proactive, in coming out to talk to people about the vision of the new BBL. But what would your message be to him, as, you know, coming in here as a British player, about what you'd like to see from him and from this league in the next 5 years?
Oh, that is a good question. I can't lie to you. That is a good question. What would I like to see? Oof, honestly, I'm a very, very easy and simple man. So, like, in the sense where I don't really stress financially, yeah, a little extra couple, you know, zeros would be great.
A couple of extra zeros at the end would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be incredible, you know. No, but I think, to be honest, it's just like, maybe, like, speaking to like some of my guys, like, maybe just like a different format of the league, in a sense, you know. Obviously, I did see, like, they're trying to, you know, look into working with, I want to say, Belfast and getting a team. Yeah, Belfast getting a team. Just getting, like, some extra, like, clubs involved, you know. That would be great, making it 15, 16 team league. Like that would be incredible, you know. And then I think obviously just starting from there, you know, making it actually like a league that's like seen around the world. Like, oh wow, like, you know, this is the BBL, like it's a respectable thing, you know. Like I even made a joke with one of my teammates, like, oh, like there's the BBL and then there's the BBL, you know. Like there's the German BBL and then there's the British BBL. Like we just made a joke, like, oh, it's a difference in the saying. Like it's just like, no, it shouldn't be like that. Like for one, this is my home, this is my country, this is where I'm from. So it'd be sick to like have a league where it's just like, oh wow, like I would love to play in England, I would love to play in the BBL kind of thing, you know. But the steps on how to do that, I'm personally not too sure. That's why we, you know, have a CEO involved to you know, make that happen for sure.
Well, let's hope it's on the rise.
Yeah,
anyway,
let's hope.
Denzel, pleasure having you on. Amazing tales. Good luck, keep doing what you do, and have a great Christmas when it comes. Sure, not far away, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you very much, and you have a good Christmas as well. Thank you for having me on here. Enjoyed it.
Thanks, Denzel. Appreciate it. That is it for this edition of the MVP Cast. Don't forget, you can get all the previous editions via your preferred podcast provider or at the website at mvp247.com. If you want to reach out to me, you can get me on Twitter at Mark Bripple. We'll have another edition of the podcast very soon. Our guest next week, don't miss it, it is Jordan Williams, GB Ford, and he's got some great chat for us. But until then, from me, Mark Woods, thank you for joining me, and we'll see you soon.